Start to deepen the breath. So as you feel yourself settling into yourself, what can expand? What can grow? And when you find yourself growing, what's creating that? Is it your spine? Is it a sense of breath? Is it a lightness in your mind? What creates that sense of expansion and spaciousness in your body? And does it feel good? And if it does, kind of revel in it for a moment. Enjoy. Allow your shoulders to drop down. Feel a sense of ease. What have you been carrying heavily upon you? Is there any weight that you can let go? Maybe slide off your shoulders, drip out of your head, release from your eyes, soften away from your hands. What can you let go of? And when you find that sense of surrender, does that also give you more capacity for expansion and space? If you were in class yesterday, did a lot of breath work, and let's just kind of slightly review the beauty of the exhale. So as you take a deep breath in, see if you can be so very patient for your exhale. Just slow and steady, like taking a very slow walk. Breath out as steady as you can. And then see what you can do to have a moment of relaxation at the bottom of the exhale where there's that little pause. Oftentimes when we feel the need to push our breath out, there's tension at the bottom of the exhale, some muscular strength. See what it feels like to give up that sensation. So let the breath all the way out and then let go. Pause until your body says, time for breath. And every time you exhale, come into that long, spacious state of a luxurious, patient exhale. And notice the quiet at that pause. Notice how good it feels to inhale when you've spent a lot of time making sure your lungs empty. All right, let's place the palms together at your heart and offer an intention. What can your practice help you with today? What's on the agenda for your day? Do you need patience? Do you need concentration? Do you need hope? Do you need some resiliency? What is it that you need to move forth in your day? Okay, and then let's release the hands and come onto our back. All right, so let's go ahead and find some space. Okay, so stretch your body out, lengthen your arms, lengthen your legs. See what it feels like to grow in length. Maybe stretch one heel away, then the other heel away. Just come into the sensations of the body. What does it feel like to stretch your arms overhead, to feel that invigoration in the spine? Can you feel your spine lifting off the floor anywhere? And then bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit. Just kind of come back and forth, back and forth. A little bit of a massage for your low back. Can you give up? Can you let things go? Relax as much as you can in your back body. And then right knee into the chest, left leg long on the floor. Feel free to wiggle out your ankles and roll around. See what your toes feel like. Just wake up your bare feet. Enjoy moving your joints, especially in the morning. If you tend to get a little stiff, if you limp a little bit when you first wake up, this is a great thing to do before you even get out of bed, to loosen up the ankles, the Achilles tendons, the fascia in the bottom of your feet. And then let's switch sides. So left knee into the chest, right leg is long on the floor. Feel some movement. Roll around in your ankles, roll around in your toes. Notice some sensation traveling up your calves, your shins. Feel a good old squeeze in the knee and the hip. And then bring the other knee back to join and open up the knees away from each other and back in. So just find that swing. And you know, we do so much movement in our day where our knees are in flexion for sure, but not as much rotation. You know, we walk forward, we sit. A lot of the things we do, our knees are just in front of us instead of out to the sides. So let's just enjoy the way we rotate and abduct. Abduct just means knees go away from the midline. So let's go ahead and hang out in abduction for a moment. So pull your knees away from the midline and find wherever you want to be. You can bring your knees closer toward your chest or further away. Just find the sweet spot of opening your hip joints up in this way. Feel maybe a stretch in your inner thighs. And then swing them back in. Put your feet onto the ground, arms out to the side. And let's get the outer hips a little bit more open and move into the spine. So we're just windshield wipering our knees left and right. Finding the breath. Feel the breath travel. See what you're sensing in the side bodies, in the belly, as your diaphragm moves. Now this is kind of a big thing to do, so feel free to ignore me on this one. Drop knees to the left. We're going to pick up our left foot and put it to the outside of the knee. One way to make this a little less intense is to put a block underneath your right knee and just see what you can open up in the outer hip here. The iliacus might feel a little, you might feel a little something on the inner rim of the hip bone. Take a breath into whatever you're feeling. And then come back up, neutral. Pause here in neutral for a moment. Maybe bring the block to the other side. And just a subtle little windshield wipers, just a little off the midline. And then we're going to drop our knees to the right. Put the block underneath your right knee if you want, or you can put it underneath your left knee. Put your right foot to the outside of your left knee. I like the block underneath my left knee. That's preferable for my body, but see where you are. Take a deep breath and then just enjoy the stretch in the outer hip. And, you know, sometimes I can feel this in my low back. I can feel this in the inner rim of my hip bone. I can feel it a bit in my IT band. So just where do you feel it? Where in your body are you sensing some shifting, some opening, some expansion? All right, and then lift those knees back up, both knees into the chest now. Rock a little bit, let your low back ease from the twist. And then let's find our way into some starfishes. Open your body up. Navel stretches to your limbs. And then exhale and draw it back in again. Chuck your chin up. One more time. Inhale. Open out. Exhale. Close in. One more time. Let's do it again. Feel your spine. Feel how your limbs connect to your spine. And then relax. Come onto the floor like a starfish again. And take your legs as far apart as they will go away from the midline with comfort. You don't want to feel like you're a chicken bone. And notice, do you naturally have your feet turned out? Do you naturally have your feet turned up? Just see where your body likes to be in space. And then just for a moment, if you're not already doing this, turn your feet straight up, toes turning up toward the sky, and stretch your heels. Let the femur bones lengthen. Try not to push the backs of your knees into the floor, and you might find yourself getting a hip cramp. I just did. I don't know if anybody else is. So stretch and engage your quads. Stretch your heels away from your center, toes pointing straight up. And then relax that a little bit. Bring your knees back in toward the chest and rock here. Take them less wide, so arms and legs out now, not as extreme. Okay. And we're just going to connect our legs to our center. So see what it feels like to draw a chain link from your belly button to your right foot and stretch out through that line. And then hug back in through that line, the heel connecting back to your navel. And then do the same with the left. Stretch the heel away from, and notice if there's any missing links along the chain. And then heel back in toward your navel. Let's try each side one more time. So this is subtle, but see what you can feel. Can you feel that you're connected from your belly button or wherever your center feels in your body? It doesn't have to be, I'm just choosing an anatomical space in the middle of you. So you find your center. and then stretch to the heel, and then plug the heel back in. And where does it feel connected? Where are you missing something? Then left navel to your heel. Notice if you have more connection, more awareness through one limb versus the other. Heel back in toward the navel. And now let's do some cross line work. So right leg and left arm. See if you can expand out from your center and then plug back in toward your center. And then left leg and right arm. This is all subtle, so you don't have to be so extreme in your actual movements, and then plug it back in. All four limbs now, so stretch all your limbs away from your center, and then plug all of them back in. What does it feel like to integrate back in? And then relax. Let's go ahead and bring the knees into the chest. Roll around a little bit, let your hips soften from that, one big pose we just did. And then go ahead and roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, so let's start moving through some cat-cows. Feeling your spine now, enjoy. So that expansion we were cultivating in the very beginning when we were sitting, what can you do here to feel that expanded state, not just through your spine, but in the yielding into the earth? Can you expand into the earth? How do you get yourself to feel big in your body, energetically big and free? All right, and then feel free to move the pose around any kind of way you want to move the pose around. So anything that feels good. One thing I've been doing a lot lately since I hurt my back is picking my feet up, having my knees on the ground, and swinging my feet over to the right and looking to the right, and then swinging my feet over the left and looking left. This has been very helpful for my back, so I just offer it as something that might be helpful for yours. I don't know. All right, and then let's stretch, coming back to child's pose. Take your hips back toward the heels. Walk the hands wherever they're comfortable. Feel free to change the position of your arms. If your shoulders are unhappy, try turning your thumbs up toward the sky, maybe even palms up toward the sky. Lengthen through your sides. Relax your forehead toward the floor. Melt. Find the ways that you can surrender. Feel the exhale and that pause that lives there, and let go in that pause as best as you can. Even though we're concentrating on a lot of physicality, try to remain connected with the breath. Walk the hands over to the left side of your mat. Open the right ribs up and feel the goodness, feel the openness, the spaciousness. Relax your neck. Feel that connection from your fingertips to your hip. And then come back to center and inch over to the other side, lengthening through the left. Relax the forehead. It doesn't have to come onto the floor or anything, but just melt in that direction. What does a good, solid, steady breath feel like here? A long inhale, a nice long exhale, that little pause that lives there. Enjoy the breath as often as you can. Just keep coming home to enjoying your breath. Come back up onto all fours. Let's find the twist. Arm up. Slide that arm underneath. Enjoy the space between your shoulder blades. Open some things up in the back of your body. Put your eyes in the back of you and feel what you're feeling. And then inhale, reach the arm all the way up. Place that hand down onto the ground. Second side, lifting the arm. Drop that shoulder down to the ground. Pause here, breathe here, shoulders away from the ears. Deep breaths. Feel the back of you. And then inhale and lift that arm all the way to the sky again. Dog pose. Place the hands down, curl the toes under. Now you get to have some full body sensations here. Not that we haven't already had that, but just feel that sense of long, long body. So how long can you get yourself to feel from your hands to your hips? How long can you get yourself to feel from your feet to your hips? Feel your feet if you want to pedal or spread some things out, move around. Sense into your body and move in a way that helps you to open things up and enjoy this posture. What do you love about dog pose? Melt the head, relax the eyes. And then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Fold a little bit. See what it feels like to relax. Relax your head, wobble it around a little bit. See what you're doing. Maybe you want to move your hips around. Here you're on a deep forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. One more time. Inhale, halfway. Exhale and release. Bending the knees. Rise up, push off your feet. Come to the sky with your arms. Of course, you can pause. If you get dizzy at all, you can squeeze toward the midline as much as you need to raise your blood pressure up. Open your chest, lean back a little bit, feel the heart open, stretch your arms out or cactus them, whatever feels nice. Welcome the day. Lift your heart into the day. Find a big breath. And then release your hands. Interlace your hands behind you. Open the chest, bend your knees, fold. Relax the base of your skull. Move your arms away from the spine wherever they naturally go. Breathe here. And then relax the arms down. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt. Let's grab our two blocks. Come into a lunge with your right foot forward and your left foot back. So find the extension through your body. Feel the heart opening. Hug toward the midline. Move the shoulders away from the ears. Just enjoy. Feel the yielding. Move your feet into the earth. Rebound out of there. Feel it move through your spine. How is your breath? Let's start to move. Move with breath. Squaring the hips. Leg can straighten and bend. We're just warming up. We're just getting into the body. So don't think of warming up as something to prepare you for something else. It is something in itself. To me, sometimes these initial movements in the body are the most pleasurable because we're waking ourselves up, befriending ourselves, coming home. So enjoy the repetition. You know, we do very similar things. Sometimes repetition can feel really good in the body. Let's go ahead and climb up to crescent lunge. So you can always put your back knee down. You can always put your arms wherever you need them to be. Feel the extension. Open your heart to the day. Maybe you want to spread your limbs out a little bit. Connect navel to both hands. Connect navel to both feet. Feel your breath. Long, steady exhales. All right, exhale and release your hands down. Walk your back foot forward. Fold deeply. Let your head bow. Relax your head. Relax your neck. Inhale, big breath in, halfway lift. Exhale all your air out. Let the patience happen. So you don't start your inhale yet until all your breath is out. When you're ready, inhale. So take your other foot back. So now our lunge is on the other side. Feel a sense of spaciousness. Open the heart. Find your breath here. Feel your shoulders drop down away from the ears. And then let's start to move here. Squaring hips. Bending knee, straightening knee. Find the breath flowing with your movement. See if you can sense, the stretch response as you stretch open and then release it and you stretch open again. Is there something different that happens each time around? Find your way to a lunge here. Find the steadiness. When you're ready, rise up. Arms to the sky. Take yourself into some spaciousness in the upper body. Reach out of the pelvis. Connect your navel to your arms in the air. See what kind of extension upward, spaciousness upward you can find at the same time as yielding. Give your feet over. Feel the pushback, the rebound out of the earth. How's your breath? Do you have room? Are you spacious? Are you expansive? And then exhale and release the hands down onto the ground. Come onto all fours, so put your knees down. Find your breath again. We're going to take our right leg straight back behind us and our left arm out in front of us. Bird dog. So, if you don't like this pose, if it feels weird and uncomfortable to have cross lines in the body and a little asymmetry, do it anyway. Okay, do it especially if you don't like it. So what can you find to cross the line of the body from your shoulder to your hip, both in the front and the back of you? Find the breath.
Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, knee and elbow come underneath you. Inhale, bring it back out. This time we're going to bring arm and leg out to the side. You can cactus your arm or bring it straight out. Bring your leg out, turn your toes toward the floor. Stabilize through your core. Find the breath. And then bring it back out, long leg. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, bring that arm and leg back out. Place the hand and knee onto the ground. Let's change sides. Left leg, right arm coming out. Okay, just long in the body. Stretch your heel. Engage through the center of you. See if you can find that connection line from your shoulder to your hip. Feel all the muscles along your spine. Integrate with that the center of your body, your core. When you're ready, take a deep breath in. Exhale, elbow and knee come underneath you. Inhale. Bring it out. Exhale, out to the side. Turn your toes toward the floor. See what you can do to integrate your psoas, your transverse abdominis. There's a lot of deep abdominal work to hold yourself here, not just the outer hip. Finding the breath. Long, steady exhales. And then come back. Stretch that arm and leg wide or long. Exhale, bring them underneath you. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale, place your hand down, knee down, child's pose. Settle out. Feel free, if your wrists are unhappy with being on the floor, feel free to take a moment to roll around your wrists, wiggle around your hands. Let's do a couple of wrist stretches. So sit back, come to sit in Virasana. Sit back on your heels if it's available. We won't be here long. So we're going to turn our palms facing toward the floor. Stretch out your hands, okay? And then tip back. I like to curl my toes under because I can't come all the way back toward Virasana. And just stretch the wrists and the forearms and hands. Spread out the bones of your hands. Don't go past where your body says go. Drop the shoulders, widen the collarbones, a little core integration so you're not overarching the back. Okay, and then relax, shake that out. And now we're going to do just the opposite. So palms are going to face up, fingertips are pointing toward your knees. Turn the eyes of the elbows forward, at least toward each other, but maybe forward. The eyes of the elbows are like where you get blood drawn. So you can be as up on your, away from your haunches, or you can come down. So wherever your body goes, try to keep your wrists close to the floor instead of lifting them off the floor. See what you can do to stabilize here. This is a big stretch for your forearms. And then relax. Shake that out. Just let things go. Swivel around in your fingers. Roll around in your wrists. Free things up. Okay, inhale, reach the arms, big open pose. Swivel around, and then bring your hands onto the ground. Let's come all the way to the floor. So we'll skip a plank this round. Don't worry, we'll get back to a plank at some point. Roll your shoulders a few times to see what it feels like to have some slide and glide through your shoulder blades. Take a deep breath in, cobra pose. It doesn't have to be giant. Exhale and melt back down. One more time. Finding the breath, stretch your legs. Exhale and come back down. Go ahead and pick up, bring your right forearm in front of you. Pick up your left foot and grab onto it. Let's just stretch our quad a little bit. So tailbone moving toward the back edge of your mat, pubic bone lifting up. Stretch your knee away. If you can't reach your foot, grab your pants. And if you can't reach, or if you have shorts on or something, grab onto a strap and wrap it around your foot. Keep your your torso low or not lifting up. And then release that. And let's come to the other side. Grab onto that ankle. Adjust your pelvis. So try not to overdo the arch in your low back. So using your core, stabilizing through your core. Engage what you can and release your quadriceps. See what it feels like to stretch your knee. Find your breath. And then let's go ahead and release your leg down onto the ground. Back up, back towards child's pose if it feels good. Otherwise, just all fours with some swiveling around. Come on up to dog pose when you're ready. Stretch out through your body. Finding the breath here, extending through your spine. Isometrically drag your feet apart on the floor. So you're trying to kind of pull the mat apart. See the work in the outer hips. Spread out the bones of your feet. Lift up toward the pelvis. Breathe deeply. Inhale, exhale. The big expansiveness, the patience for the breath out. The gap, the little pause at the bottom of the breath. Can you melt the eyes there? Can you melt the jaw there? Let's lift our right leg up in the air. Stack your right hip over the left hip. Stretch through the inner rim of that hip bone again. Open things up. And then when you're ready, square the hips. Bring that leg back, knee to chest. Again, all your air out. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, bring your foot forward, come into a lunge. Plant your back heel down onto the ground. Virabhadrasana 1. Reach the arms up, open your heart to the day. Just see what feels good. Maybe a little back bend, it feels nice. Maybe it doesn't. How can you integrate the center of the body so you're not crunching the low back? And then exhale, we're going to turn and open up to the side for Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Find your breath here. See what your legs want to do today. Do you need some movement to help the hip open? Once you come to where you're going to be, and the arms can be anywhere, okay, if you want to have your hands down, anything that feels nice. Allow this femur bone to drop back, that back leg. Take the femur bone back, soften the hip flexors there, try not to let them overstretch. Find the breath. Long, steady exhales. Yield your feet into the floor. Find what's here. And go ahead and come on up, triangle pose. If you like blocks, grab a block and find your way into a straight-legged variation of this pose. Open your chest, bring your heart into some space, drop the shoulders away from the ears. Feel the roots of your feet yield and rebound. Maybe that means your front knee has a little bend in it. Maybe your back knee even has a little bend in it. What helps you give yourself over to the earth and then allow yourself to reach away from the earth. Find the breath. All right, let's go ahead and come on up and out of the pose. Turn to the long edge of your mat. And let's find just a halfway down here. So turn your toes pointing straight and come to like a tabletop. Find your breath. You can keep your hands on your hips. Maybe your arms want to go back. Maybe your arms can come out or forward is the hardest. So just find your sense of stability. Soften your knees, a little tiny micro bend in the knees. Give yourself over to the earth. Feel your hamstrings stretch and flex. Same with your glutes. There's a lot of opening and working simultaneously. All right, and then relax. Bring your hands down to the earth. Find your breath. And then go ahead and come back to dog pose. Swivel your hips, your hands and your feet back to the long edge of your mat. Lengthen through your spine. Find your exhales here again. So the long, steady exhale, the pause. Enjoy the change, the inversion, what it does to your diaphragm, the ability to fully exhale comes easier. Come forward into a plank. Hold steady here, shoulders away from the ears, stretch your heels back. Can you still have a long exhale? Even though there's work in the posture now, is there some steadiness to be had in a slow exhale? Okay, let's come down safely to the floor. Find your breath, curl your toes under, lift your quadriceps off the floor and take your legs wider. Take a deep breath, only our legs are going to come up. Feel your head stay down on the ground, shoulders away from the ears. A lot of work in the outer hips. Toes are pointing toward the floor. And then relax that. Bring your legs a little closer, hip width apart now. Turn your legs slightly out. So just a slight external rotation. Inhale and lift your legs. Maybe your arms come back for this variation as well. Find the breath. Legs are turned out a little bit. Feel the work. Do you have dominance in left or right? How's your diaphragm? Can you feel the push-ups on the ground with your diaphragm? Exhale and melt back down to the floor. Turn your head, windshield wiper your knees left and right. Deep breaths here. All right, let's go ahead and come back. Maybe child's pose, maybe all fours. Find your way back to dog pose when you're ready. Inhale, lift your left leg up in the air. Stack your left hip over your right. Feel the inner rim of that hip open. Can you feel your psoas, your hip flexors stretch? Take a deep breath here. And then square up the hips. Another deep breath in, stretch that leg. As you exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, foot forward. Virabhadrasana 1, back heel coming down onto the ground. Rise up, take your time, adjust anything that needs adjusting. Maybe you need a wider stance with your legs. Maybe you want to do something different with your arms. So find what's stable in your body, what kind of space you can find in your body. How is your breath? Do you want to lean back and look up? Would you rather lean forward? See what's feeling good. Stretch that back heel into the earth. Full breaths in and out. All right, we're going to turn and open up into Virabhadrasana 2 on this side. So find your way. You know, if you have, remember, you can always be up here. The pose can be real high like this. If you have some hip issues going on where depth for your knee or your hip doesn't feel good, there's always ways to accommodate everything for your body. Drop the shoulders, find your breath again. Long, steady exhales. Spread open the bones of the feet. Feel your yielding. Can you stretch from your navel to your edges and then plug all your limbs back in again? Do you tend to expand out on your inhale or your exhale? What's natural for your body? Drop the shoulders. Try not to take tension in the neck. All right, and then we're going to come up and find triangle pose. If you like using a block, you grab a block. Okay, find your way so the legs are straight. And you can climb higher. So the pose can be here with your hand on your thigh. Depth is not nearly as important as everything else. So find stability, find freedom, find breath. If those things come, if your joints feel stable, your body feels free, your breath is flowing, all that matters so much more than depth of a posture. Find the breath. Shoulders away from the ears. Feel the yielding. Can you move into your limbs from your center? Can you hug back in toward the center? All right, let's go ahead and come all the way back up. One more time to turn your feet to the long edge, but this time we're going to come all the way down. So allow the inner thighs to open a little bit. Relax your head down. Finding your breath in, finding your breath out. All right, let's go ahead and heel toe your feet in. Turn back to the long edge dog pose. Find a little internal rotation of your thighs. So turn your toes in, like pigeon toe yourself a little bit and stretch your hips back. Deep breath in and away. And now we're going to do just the opposite. So take your heels to touch. The toes are going to turn out. Perhaps your heels come down a little closer to the floor when you do it this way. And just feel the difference in your legs where it's stretching in your hamstrings. And then come to neutral. 2 feet hip width apart. Stretch your heels back. Extend the spine. And come forward into a plank. Hold steady. And then we're going to put our knees down onto the ground. Vasisthasana, we're going to do it a specific way. So we're going to start with your right arm on the ground. Instead of having your shin perpendicular to the long edge of the mat, or to the mat. We're gonna take it so that your shin is parallel to the long edge of your mat. So in line with the long edge of your mat. Your hand is a little bit forward of your shoulder. Now this makes balance a little bit more precarious because you're not as broad-based. Take a deep breath and lift the arm in the air. Shoulders are away from the ears. Now see what it feels like to allow that knee to move deeply into the floor. Stabilize, and when you're ready, lift your leg in the air. Open the chest so there's a lot of balance. Engage your core. Find the side waists a little bit, and it's okay if you get a little wobbly. No problem. Press your shin into the ground. All right, and then go ahead and relax. Come onto all fours. Stretch back to child's pose. Relax a little bit. All right, now from here, we're gonna come to the other side. So your shin is parallel to the long edge of your mat. Find your breath, open your chest. When you're ready, lift your arm in the air, find the shoulders moving away from the ears. If you feel stable, and a little hack is to take your left hand further out to the left a little bit if you need that. Find your breath and go ahead and lift the leg in the air. Open the chest. Find your breathing body as best as you can. See what it feels like to have that sense of extension through the spine. Stretch to the heel and then plug the heel back in toward the navel. Find the work in the outer hip. Press your shin into the floor. Okay, and then exhale and relax. Come back around, child's pose. Take a breath. Notice if your breath got away from you. Return to that steady, even breathing. All right, and then when you're ready, stretch your hands out long and find dog pose. Again, feel the extension. Inner spiral of the thighs. So release some of that hip work we just did. Find the breath. When you're ready, lift the right leg up in the air. Stack open the hip. Find a deep breath here. Exhale, square things up, knee to nose. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, bring your foot forward. Come to a lunge. 0-1 again. Rise up. Bring your arms. Okay, and then we're going to turn and open up to the side. Ardha Chandrasana is coming, so find how you want to be in this pose. Take a bend of your knee if you want. Find your way into Parsva Konasana. That's a nice way to get up. I'm going to hit the wall, so I'm going to move. All right, so when we come, find your way. Bring your hand onto the block. Open yourself up into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Lots of work through the core, through both sides of your legs. Try not to hyperextend. See if you can press out from your navel to your edges and hug back in. Find the connection to the floor, the yielding. How's your exhales here? Can you lift that leg? Can you stretch your heel in the air? And then a big giant step back the same way you went in. I'm running out of room, but maybe you were in Vira or Parsva Konasana. And find your way up. Turn your feet to the long edge of your mat. Come down. Relax the spine. Find your breathing. You feel free to turn your toes in if you want. Swivel back to the long edge of your mat for dog pose. Deep breath in and away. Inhale, come forward into a plank. When you're ready, you can bring your knees down first if you need to. Come all the way to the floor. Arms and legs are wide. Lift everything up. Find your breath. Take any variation of this that's right for your body. And then exhale, relax. Come up onto all fours. Swivel things around a little bit. Move your hips. Move your shoulders. Move your breath. Find your way to dog pose when you're ready. Take your time here. Find a breath here. Find a long exhale. Find a pause. Next inhale, lift that leg high, left leg high, stack open the hip. Find the breath. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, square the hips, knee to nose. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, bring your foot forward. Virabhadrasana 1, heel back heel coming down. Rise up, reaching the arms, or maybe not. Maybe you're like, nope, I gotta keep my arms on my hips. Maybe you're way leaned forward to see what's working for your body. Push your feet into the floor, your front, especially your front foot. If you're working on turning the glutes on, push the heel down. And then go ahead and turn and open up to the side for Virabhadrasana 2 or any variation that helps you get into Ardha Chandrasana. So I like to come into Parsvakonasana to get in there, but that's just my way. Some people like to start from triangle pose, however you like to be. Make sure your foot is pointing to the short edge of your mat. Try not to turn it. Find your breath. Blocks are so helpful. Go ahead and lift on up. Try not to turn that hip, or turn the foot rather. Open the chest. So I'm using my furniture because that's what I've got available to me. Lift that leg in the air, maybe lift the arm in the air. Soften the knee you're standing on. Can you yield into the earth and rebound? Can you feel the connection from your center to your limbs and hug back in toward your center? Find this on the breath. Would you like to do it on the inhale, stretch out, or on the exhale to stretch out? Inhale to hug back in, exhale to hug back in. What's natural for your body? Feel that rotation in your standing leg. Lift the leg in the air. And then a big giant step back. Come out the way you went in if you can, instead of just putting your foot down. Extend through your spine wherever you're going, and then go ahead and find your way back up. Last time, turning the feet forward, coming down. Hands on blocks or floor, maybe dog pose arms, what feels good. Do you want to turn your toes in? Do you want to turn your toes out? Do you want to have your toes straight? Deep breaths. All right, heel toe your feet. All the way in and in. And then bend your knees and come onto all fours. So just feel a moment of swiveling through your spine, whatever feels nice in your body. All right, so one last challenging variation that we're gonna do before we kind of start cooling down. We're gonna come back into that Vasisthasana with our shin parallel, okay? So from here, we're going to try to do the variation of Chapasana, but we're a little lower to the ground, so sometimes it's a little easier. So bring your knee forward, grab your ankle, and stretch that knee back, and open the chest. And maybe you're not here, and that's okay. If you want to use a strap, that's awesome. Shoulders are away from the ears. Open the chest to the day. Feel the heart. Press the shin into the floor. Stabilize the low back. Stretch your knee. How's the breath? And then exhale and relax that. Go ahead and come to child's pose. Rest your hips. Rest your back. Deep breaths in. Maybe your arms are down at your sides. I have my knees close together. Maybe you have yours close together or far apart. Okay, we're going to come into Vasisthasana with Tripasana legs. So we're going to come onto our hand, our shin, and our foot to begin. Find your breath. Remember, you can always take your left hand a little further out to the left. If you need a little more balance, just find what's working for you. Shoulders are away from the ears. It's helpful for some people to bring your knee forward and grab on your ankle. For me, I can just grab my ankle back there, but my quads are a little bit free. So whatever works for your body. I've been told this makes it easier for people to grab. So that's one way of getting in there. Open the chest, drop the shoulder blades down, press your shin into the floor. There's a lot of activity in the outer hip of that standing leg. Feel the openness across your hip flexors, your quad. Open the chest. stabilize your core. Find your breath. What does it feel like to expand from your center outward? To hug back in. Okay, and then go ahead and relax that. Back into child's pose you go. Decide, knees close, knees far. Breathing. Okay, come to lie down on your back. Finding the breath. Just put your feet on the floor for a moment. Let your spine neutralize. Relax your legs. Deep breath in. Deep breath away. Just going to do one round of bridge to just stabilize our pelvis after the standing pose. It's really good to do. So first, before we go anywhere, let's just do a couple of movements with the sacrum. So drop the tailbone into the ground. The top of the sacrum lifts up away from the floor a little bit, and just scrub the tailbone toward the shoulders. Engage some of those muscles in the low back. And then relax, a little bit of a posterior tilt, not a lot, just a little bit. And then find nutation again. So tailbone moving down and scrubbing toward the shoulders. And then relaxing. One last time. Tailbone down, scrubbing toward the shoulders. Top of the sacrum is lifting. And then exhale and release. Now we're going to lift our whole sacrum up. Come into a bridge. Find your shoulders where you want them to be. Move your feet into the floor and lift the pelvis up. Long, steady breaths here. Feel that hugging around your pelvis, around your sacrum. All the muscles hugging onto the sacrum. And then slowly lower your hips back down. Don't bring your knees into your chest yet. Let's come back to some windshield wipering like we did in the beginning. Come into a flat posture, flat spine for a moment, and we're going to pick up your hips and scooch them right. You might need a block for this, so have a block handy. Okay, we're going to pick up our knees, drop them left. Perhaps there's a few different things you can do. So I want to get into your IT bend and your outer hip a little bit. So first, just start with a simple twist, and then decide where you want to go from here. You can use that block. Your top foot can come to rest on the block, and you can grab behind your knee or your calf. You can grab your big toe if you can reach that far. So the knees are staying together, the top leg is straightening. Feel the femur bone move away from the shoulder. Maybe turn your head in opposition. Breathe. Go ahead and come on out of there. Bring your body back to neutral. You can bring your block to the other side if you were using it. Scoot your hips to the left a few inches. Bring your knees toward your chest and drop them over to the right. The knees are together. First, just enjoy a beautiful twist. Open the ribs, open the breath. And then if you want to use the block, you can put your foot on the block. Maybe you're holding somewhere, in the back of your leg. Maybe you can reach your big toe with your right hand. So just see where you go. Move your left hip, plug the heel into the hip and then move the hip away from the shoulder. Let the breath guide you into the stretch. Is your lower leg relaxed? Let the foot soften. All right, let's go ahead and release to come out of there. Okay, bring your knees back up. Neutral spine for a moment. Feet on the floor. Deep breath. So you have a choice for a hip stretch. You can either cross your thigh, right thigh over left thigh, and draw the knees toward the chest. This is a great stretch for your outer hip.
If you want something different than that, then come into reverse pigeon pose, right foot on left knee, and find your way into reverse pigeon. So whichever of those two variations feels most delicious for the body, find your breath. Let your right hip stretch. Melt here. The exhales are about melting. The pause at the exhale is about melting. What can you let go of? All right, and then go ahead and stretch your legs straight for a moment. Let your hip flexors open. And then when you're ready, left thigh over right thigh, or if that's the version you're taking, and hold on to your knees or your shins and pull your knees toward your chest, or come into reverse pigeon pose where you're holding on to the back of your thigh or the front of your shin or wherever you want to hold. Breathe deeply. The exhales help you. Let them help you. All right, let's go ahead and find our way out of there. And just bring your knees to your chest. Maybe happy baby pose feels nice in your body. Maybe that's too deep of a forward flexion. So whatever feels good, you can just bring your knees to your chest and rock. You can pick your head up, happy baby pose, whatever kind of flexion feels nice in the body. And we're going to find our way into Shavasana. So as you come to rest, decide how you want to be. What kind of support do you need for Shavasana? Do you want to have some support underneath your knees? Do you want your legs up, like up the wall or up on a couch? Do you need support under your head? Just find what you need. And before you drift deep, feel that sense one more time of your limbs energetically now. Connect the links from your navel to your edges and back home again. Nothing has to engage, so it doesn't have to be a muscular thing. Just feel the energy of expansion and the energy of condensement. And then go ahead and let that go. And just let your body rest on the floor. Spine resting, the limbs heavy. See what it feels like to soften the muscles in your face, to relax around and behind your eyes. Feel the surrender through your skull bones and your jaw. Melt anything you can. Once again, feel the exhales take you into surrender.
Let's begin to deepen our breathing again. Feel the full, deep inhale and a very long, complete, steady exhale. Melt your body. All right, let's begin to move a bit. Feel a sense of, anything you want. Your toes, your fingers, your wrists, your ankles. Perhaps something more adventurous than just your tiny limbs, right? Your fingers and toes. And then as you're ready, let's open the heart to the day again. Okay, so stretch your arms overhead. Find some invigoration. Breathe. Take a deep inhale. Maybe squeeze if it feels good to wake yourself up. And then go ahead and find a tight little ball. Tuck your knees in. Just relax. You don't have to have a tight ball. Just relax into the knees to chest. Maybe rock a little bit. And come on to your side as you're ready. Pause here for a breath. And then as you're ready, find your way up. Come up to sit. Find comfort in your seated posture. Let's bring our hands to our heart. And just have a moment to just offer the intentions of the day outward. So as much as your practice is for you, it's also for everyone around you. So offer your love, your care, the work you do for and with yourself, and how that expresses into support and care for others. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.